Well, good morning. And here we are on Monday, the 16th of May in the year 2022. And as one commentator said in the Sunday press yesterday, not a series of years that are going to set history alight. They have been tough years, and they continue to be tough years. And our leaders sat around not really sure what they should do about it, what they should do about things. But there we go. We have to put up with these things, don't we? So broadly, we are broadcasting from Lewes in East Sussex. We'll try to adjust things a little bit so I can feel relaxed. You will feel relaxed. And all in all, we will be comfortable with each other for the next hour or two. We'll review the papers in a minute. And for a long time, I have been ranting about reform. It's time for reform. And the one thing that anybody in the establishment does not like is the suggestion of reform. So I'm afraid Boris has once again put the cat amongst the pigeons, and he has said we are going to rip up the protocol on the Northern Ireland Brexit agreement with the border between the island of Ireland, or the Republic of Ireland, and Northern Ireland, one being a member of the EU and the other not. Our government is saying this is unworkable. We're going to scrap it unless you reform it. And the EU are saying, not bloody likely. We don't believe in reform, nor do they. So there we are as a start to the day. And we hope that you will join us at some stage during our 2 or 3 hours on the air. It is 8:37. The weather outside is going to reach 19 degrees today, a balmy 19 degrees. There will be a breeze. But sometimes when they say from the weather, when the weatherman says a soft breeze, it's enough to take my hat off. So do be careful when you go out. That breeze may not be just the gentle whiff of air that you're expecting. But nonetheless, it's going to be dry, not much chance of rain. All in all, a rather nice day, and it's going to rise even to more 21 degrees tomorrow. So we are having a bit of a mini heat wave, even though it was pretty dirt this morning when we first went out. But it is, you can see the sun reflected in some of the buildings on Lewes High Street. And that indicates not a bad sort of day are we going to have. We are looking for a video file. And that doesn't help us much, I'm afraid. As usual, nothing ever happens the way that it should do in this a neck of the woods. Why on earth that happens the way it does, I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. I spent a lot of time yesterday making sure that we got everything, all our ducks in a row. And of course, when you actually move to a different platform, it never works quite the same. But let's have a look at the yeah, that was pretty smart, wasn't it? Right, the newspaper headlines. And the BBC always gathers the front pages of the newspapers for us to take a look at. And its headlines this morning are The Radiant Queen and the Prime Minister's Gamble. Those are the two essences of the newspaper headline as the BBC sees it. And we'll take a look at who says what with whom. And the Daily Mail leads the list this morning, and it is radiant, happy, and simply glorious. And it has lifted the mood by pointing out that the monarch yesterday looked pretty damn good for a 96-year-old. That she looked happy, that she looked well, and she looked positive. And that this was reflected in the response that she got to the various concerts and events that she attended yesterday. I think she attended 3 of them, and all of them were rapturous applause for the monarch. So that's where the Mail gets its response to the Queen showing her face above the parapet. Of course, there has been some concern, particularly when she missed the state opening of Parliament. But I wonder whether, in fact, that's a ploy by her to start to get Charles in front of the public. And the royal family are very, very clever at the way they manipulate us all. They actually get us all geared up to accept things which we've said that we won't. I mean, the prime example was Camilla. So I wonder whether, in fact, now that the Queen is beginning to soften us up, ready for Charles to take over the throne. There is one intriguing possibility that was thrown up last week, and that is that Charles will become a Prince Regent, that he will be in authority, but not actually sitting on the throne, that the Queen will remain on the throne, but rely upon him for administrative duties. That's intriguing. We haven't had a Prince Regent, I don't think, about 200 years. The last was the Prince of Wales, whom we know in Lewis as being the prince who drove a coach and four down Keir Street and managed not to break his neck. There are those who say what would happen if he had broken his neck, and one hesitates to think. Anyway, the Sun, Happy Madge at TV special, the Queen and Tom kick off Jubilee. Well, of course, you've got to get a celebrity in, haven't you, somewhere? So Tom Cruise was the it this year. Not a bad actor, I think. I've quite enjoyed watching some of his stuff. I think that his Mission Impossible stuff, some of it was good, some of it was a bit dicey, if you ask me. But nonetheless, a respectable actor. And he is brought in to heighten the awareness, particularly amongst those people that think that Hollywood is absolutely Shangri-La. Right, okay. The Daily Express. Russia loses a third of its troops. It got in the corner. There has been a Well, there we go. We had a blackout there. Sorry about that. We seem to be back now, and actually have decent signal strength at the moment. So let's hope that you are seeing what we think you're seeing. We had just got on to the Daily Express, where partly one of the sub-headlines is Russia loses a third of its troops, which is a pretty heavy price to pay. There was some suggestions over the weekend that Putin stormed through the corridors of the Kremlin and fired all sorts of generals and top military people. Shades of Hitler, actually. Same paranoia. But anyway, we are told that Russia has lost a third of its troops in its advances into Ukraine. Now, it's morning. Boris warns the EU that we'll act dropping things all over the place. Boris has warned the EU, we'll act if you don't change. And basically what he said is that this issue of the protocol, the Northern Ireland Protocol, where there is an artificial border drawn through the sea, and what you can do on one side of the border and what you can't do on the other, is that he's going to simply tear up the agreement and get stuck in. He accuses the EU of avoiding reform, of being stuck in the mud, that the policies and the implementation of some of their initiatives just isn't working, and something has got to be done if we are not to do something ourselves when it comes to the Northern Ireland Protocol. Right. The trade war with the EU. Oh, right. Okay. Well, what they're saying is ripping up the protocol of the Northern Ireland agreement is actually done. If that's what we do, then we are going to risk a trade war with the EU. I suppose that was going to come at some stage anyway. There is not enough time yet that's gone under the bridge. There's a mixed metaphor. What we have got is a mishmash. And Boris is saying, come on, get with it. Let's get this thing sorted. And it's as much you, EU, as us that has got to do the sorting. And the EU aren't keen. They're never keen on reform. And a problem with alterations and how they behave. And they don't like renegades saying, stop it. Now, the Times, the police regulator has said, hey, come on, stop getting involved in so-called hate crimes and thought crimes and the wokes and so on and so forth. Is there are a lot of nasty people out there bonking little old ladies on the head. And that's really what you should be doing, is you should be looking at that sort of real crime effort and making sure that you're doing absolutely everything to further that, and stop this nonsense about did somebody break the law by suggesting that something in the EU was the Guardian, the police chiefs. You see, one man's meat is another man's poison, and thank goodness indeed that we have the opportunity in this country to debate and to get to the bottom of things. It may seem that it's yap a lot of the time. To open up issues which in an authoritarian state just be nodding through. That would be it. So we are lucky in the sense that we've got that at the moment. But what the police chiefs are saying or the police authority is saying to the police chiefs is, look, come on, get with it and realize that crime on the streets is real. How long have we been saying that? Years. And of course, nobody pays attention until suddenly we find ourselves in a critical situation, which we do at the moment. Britain is in a critical situation. Make no mistake whatsoever. None. The Daily Telegraph is the PM attacks Brussels over the cost of living crisis. He says, look, some of your policies have signally failed. You are now creating a situation where the cost of living is soaring, particularly in Britain. This is going to lead to a great deal of discontent. And it's time that you actually got to grips with it and helped us sort out any defence and the increase in loss of cost of living. Sweden's bid to join NATO is also highlighted there, and the Financial Times is Sweden and Finland herald a new era with NATO applications. Both those countries, who are a bit ho-hum about NATO up until this last crisis, have now decided that they would like some defence. And to get to defence, you really do need to belong to the EU. Although the Americans were committed to be here for, it's only been 2 or 3 months. We've got another 9 months of hopefulness from our association with the smaller EU countries. But what worries some of the politicians now is that any reform that may be looked at is not going to reflect the positive thinking that we try to get out of ordinary citizens, us, in other words. Metro. Ukraine's defiant promise. Kiev says it'll host Eurovision. And this is because of the extraordinary success of this event over the weekend. Is that it obviously is a signal thing to use. So the Ukrainians are saying, look, we'll host the Eurovision. That's our aim. Now, if it didn't happen for 10 years, everybody may be delighted that this television service and this whole approach to work came about during the 2022 era. Not an auspicious one, but with enough happening to make it look auspicious. And that's why we need to get heavy with one another, to shout and to scream and to yell when we don't agree, because consensus is a very powerful thing. Anyway, the Metro says that Kiev will host a Eurovision, and it's already spotting 2 or 3 controversial places in its country where it could take place. The Mirror. The Queen steps out for a royal giggle, and it's trivia. But racist killers' UK obsession is the victims of hate, and the German murderers in US behind the United States rant. But this the latest pretender to the throne says that he has got Sadiq Khan behind him to hold his hand and carry his hot bottles. I only met this gentleman. Well, never mind. We'll not worry about the individuals, but it is up to our leaders now to grasp the nettle and come up with something that is acceptable to us all. The star, thunder and lightning, very, very frightening. Flash, bang, wallop, it says. There is a storm warning. It's but 28 degrees centigrade Spanish weather, plumes, or is about to plume. So one is going to replace the other. And we need to enjoy what we've got while we've got it. Although the predictions are that we're going to have a much drier than usual summer. I bet the kids are really excited about that. But so should we be. It's that sort of thing to where we're swearing that we will never, ever take our black caps off again to try and keep the sun out. Is that it is a serious issue, and it has been addressed seriously. And I'm happy to say that we are ready to flashback wallop to enjoy that sort of headline. Okay, I want to try and bring in a couple of things that we did do. Mirador has been going for some 5 or so years. It's had its ups and downs. It hasn't done all that it would want to, and on the contrary, it's slightly in trouble at the moment. But we are just going to show some of the people that are policymakers and are able to know how what this television station has done is widely unknown, and what it's going to come is so far is widely unknown. But that doesn't mean to say we're going to stop where we dead end tracks. So here is a look at where we're going and what we're doing. Well, there it is.
Next up, bottled poetry. All about wine tasting, and some information. For the next episode of Kathleen's Corner, the lovely Stephen has another issue he wants to discuss.
Welcome to Mirador.
Give us back our town. Beer, wine.
So, thank you for joining.
Hey, Ellie, come on, give us a kiss. Come on.
Do admire the hanging gardens of Babylon on the way. They can't even cut that back properly.
Hello. At last I've caught you asleep.
You did hold up a Bible upside down, but you held it up.
Hey, man.
Hello, my name is Leslie Hills and I paint portraits. They're sold for cancer research, and this Christmas Mirador Television are putting on a competition just for fun, and we'd like people to send in a self-portrait and also a photograph of themselves as well.
Have we done that file or not?
Are you working?
Taking a picture, you film.
I'm filming. You're gonna have to work
Sitting
now.
there going,
Well, good morning. It's Keith Hayes at Priory Park in Lewis, standing or sitting by Jenry, our mascot.
Breaking news, November 1967. Carl Stokes, elected mayor of the city of Cleveland, Ohio. The first black American man of color to be elected the mayor of a major
Right, okay. I got caught out there. I didn't realise that we'd finished it quite as quickly. Let's come back to me.
Next
Yeah.
up, bottled poetry.
Uh,
Another issue he wants to
we
discuss.
can remove that one. It is 9 minutes past, no, it's 4 minutes past 9, not 9 minutes past 4. And you're watching Mirador television out of Lewis, East Sussex. And we are looking very carefully at what's happening in the news, because we are in a sensitive situation. And we've just been through the headlines, not so much the headlines as the front pages, as they're reflecting the news when you wake up and you get your newspaper and take a look at them. Mirador Television is now motoring. We are getting more and more interesting issues for you to take a look at, to debate, getting more and more guests, and all in all, not an uninteresting addition to Lewis media, if you like. Let's for some reason the banners have disappeared. There we go. Because I would like to do what we normally do at this particular time, and that is go down to Grange Park. I love it down there, and we often do take a break to go down during this program. So let's go. So there we are, broadcasting from the White Hart in Lewes, and we have some interesting interviewees coming up this week. Not least of which is that there are signs of great life coming back into the town. And this past weekend, the Battle of Lewes took place. Now, for those people who don't know much about the Battle of Lewes, because it's not like the Battle of Trafalgar or the Battle of Waterloo, that it is reported in any great depth, but the Battle of Lewes was perhaps arguably one of the most important battles ever to take place in English history, because it established Parliament. It established a new view of how we would be governed. Henry III had from his dad, who was a bit of a naughty boy, King John, had set up the Magna Carta, which guaranteed that there would be a consultative process with the guardians of the state, if you like, which included all the knights. And of course, John reneged on it. So we hit 1264 with the leader of the barons group saying, hey, I'm afraid that what we have got here is a situation in which we are giving way to the king again. In other words, he is spending money willingly and spending it where he wants. And despite the fact that they were all one part of a big happy family, the king refused to speak to de Montfort, who then assembled an army, marched on Lewes, and invaded, first of all, the castle and many parts of the town, plus the I'm going a bit too fast even for myself. Plus de Warenne, the de Warenne actually fought in the battle and was naturally on the king's side, because the Warennes owned the castle and they owned an awful lot of real estate around here as well. But the way of operating had called in the Magna Carta for the barons to be consulted on spending and a number of other important issues. But the time had come and go, and it was nowhere to be seen any accord. And so the barons took action. First of all, they attacked the king's men who were feasting in the Lewes Priory. And there was quite a bout there. But also, they beat them. And it is noteworthy that the King John had, it is said that he hadn't signed Magna Carta. Other historians poo-poo that and say, well, he didn't sign anything ever in his lifetime. What he did was he had a royal seal, which is considered to be the be-all and end-all. You got something with the royal seal on, you didn't fool around. So the Battle of Lewes took place on this past weekend, and there were a medieval fair was set up, and the various people, many of whom are always there when it's needed, always come to Lewes and help out. and they did on recreating once again the battle in the High Street. Now, slicing people's heads off was fairly rare. What would happen in the fights, in the battles of these times, is that the heavy broadsword would slap across the body proper, and that actually would destroy a certain amount of innards, a certain amount of how it should be carried on. So if you actually got whacked by a broadsword, and the spectators said, "Oh, whoa, that's not so bad, is it?" Is what was happening was your innards were being wrecked, and as a consequence, your days were truly numbered, and that you were being held by the royal family's influences in various locations that supported the knights, the de Montforts. But anyway, in essence, the Montfort and the knights won, and the barons, I should say, won. They then made their way into the town, looting and pillaging, and the awful lot of people who died. But that was celebrated here in Lewes on Sunday. And that's the sort of thing that can happen in this part of the world, and we just have to respect it. Generally speaking, we do anyway. All right, let's let's take a look at this one, shall we? No, we won't. We'll take a look at this one because it's rather a nice one. And there we are, a nice little, by the by of model railways, a particularly excellent model, well thought out, well executed. All in all, wish I'd got it to play with when I got home at night. Where are we in the scheme of things? We are at 16 minutes past 9. I'm Keith Hayes. Call me Mr. Keith. And some of my colleagues will be in a little while to pick up where I leave off. And I'm happy to say that we all get along fairly well together. So there is no, oh, you told me, he told me, etc., etc. At least not much of it. and what is we'll get sorted out. Yeah. So let's take a look at just to not filling in time. But here is Susan with her look, her spin on Mirador and what it is. Okie doke. Here we are back again. And it is 18 minutes past 9 o'clock. It is the 16th of May. Oh, how time flies, does it not? Particularly when you're my age and you would like to see the days elongated, is there not? Before you know it, you're through the weekend and you're into work. All right. Well, we've experimented a little with Rouser Radio to try and find Rouser Radio on the web, and we've brought up to date what's happening in the world of newspaper headlines, and to some extent what's happened in the Battle of Lewis and why it took place. It would be very nice to have the help that we just saw there, if it was help. Kids sometimes get in their way, can't they? The important thing is that we are seeing a revival of event developing. We have not ever had a proper ice training session here, and so we should. We've never had a proper wine tasting session here, but yes, we should. So we're recognizing that we need to have our place in society, and that's what this is all about. So we are. Let's have a look at the various things which we can do. Let's have a look at this. Yes. Now, from here on in is we are going to be showing some past programs from Mirador, and we didn't do too badly in the past. But it's a recognition of the fact that we've come a long way. We are now developing and we're making similar programs, and it'll give you some idea of the sort of things that we did do. But most of them are indeed informative, and we are trying very hard to get them to you. Now, I don't want to start into a new program when it's just what did I say? It was 90 minutes. There we go. we we'll be looking at all sorts of things over the next couple of weeks, couple of months. And this is a different type of television. We're not at all professional in the sense that we do things according to the rule book. So you can imagine, if you will, is that we've got immigrant status for several people who are all going to the Archbishop of Canterbury. And our program for the Archbishop is that he's not terribly sympathetic about this at the moment. So that's the sort of controversy that we do try to get in. 48. Well, sorry, no, we've taken up. Well, it's nothing like getting things screwed up. Is a term. We will be a lot of those people who are a bit unfamiliar with television are learning the ropes very quickly. And the more people that we get, the more programs we can develop, and the stronger and better that Mirador will become. 0923. This is really, I suppose, why we're here. We go at a little run through of where we are and what we're doing. So we are going to leave you now. Leave me now. It is 24 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. And we will hopefully have plenty to discuss in our program, Affairs from the Heart, which is not as naughty and spicy as it sounds, but it's because the things that we discuss come from the White Hart Hotel. So let's find a decent extra if we can. Takes time for anybody, including the shepherd, to get all excited about things that's early in the morning. But then again, it is 9:25, and golly, it doesn't the time fly, because we first went on the air with Rouse Radio this morning at 7:30. We were a little bit late, 7:32, 7:33. But we established the fact that we can have Rouser Radio up until the first television program. And some of it is okay. We've got obsessions and admissions and so on and so forth. But generally speaking, we're not too badly off. Right, okay, so it's 26 past 9, and what we'll do is we will say toodle pip for now. I'll be back in about 10 minutes, and I hope that you'll eventually come back and join us. I almost found out my own shop suggesting that you would come to this, but it's an invitation-only event, I believe. Anyway, here we go. Here we go. Until about 20 to 10. Toodle, 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 pip.